CD Projekt Red has been under some flack lately for their failed Cyberpunk 2077 launch. And despite the major upsides and how fun the game actually is, you can't deny that the game is largely unfinished. And consumer outrage is reaching such a state that now Cyberpunk 2077 can't be bought on the PlayStation Store. So even if you happen to get your hands on a PlayStation 5 digital system right now, there is no way for you to actually play Cyberpunk 2077 at the moment. And this is kind of a big deal. I don't remember hearing any other game with such a failed launch like this to end up being delisted from the store and ending up in hot water for all the mass refund requests that are coming in. And immediately CD Projekt Red came out and said that their highest priority is to fix this game and bring it to a standard that their fans come to expect from them. And this leaves a lot of questions up in the air whether or not certain things are going to be considered as bugs and fixed in shortly, where missing features that they showed to us in a demo may not be their main focus at the moment. And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm wondering what's happening at CD Projekt Red. How are they reacting to this? How are the devs being talked to after this? And whether or not the necessary actions are being taken to fix this game. An anonymous dev working on Cyberpunk 2077 posted on a forum somewhere talking about the environment right now at CD Projekt Red and what their plans are for the game going forward. Now, I'm going to go out and say there is no real way to verify if this is a real dev working at CD Projekt Red. Obviously, if they were, they wouldn't want to post on a forum with their actual credentials, as it can lead to them being very hot water. But looking at all the information here, it doesn't seem like any of it is too outlandish or unbelievable. So I'm erring on the side of it being real, but again, there's no way to verify this, so take it with a grain of salt. And quickly as a side note before we get started, this was all pulled from a major forum where the dev was actually responding to questions that people were posting. Unfortunately, I don't have the original questions, so some of the responses that he gave might not make any sense without the context, but I wanted to include everything that he said. So let's get started. CDPR hurt themselves to keep investors safe and sound. Now devs are hearing plans of a No Man's Sky style comeback due late June. The first two patches come out mid-March, despite what is said by the top execs. There will be major departures from the studio in the coming months. Dev morale is on an all-time low, and Sony is roasting our asses due to the gigantic volume of refund requests. There will be a meeting today with Sony execs to figure out a way to compensate players threatening with legal action. Sony Japan is especially furious. More to come in the next weeks. Feels terrible, man. This next part seems to be a response in reference to who is being blamed for the failure of the Cyberpunk launch, and there's no finger pointing as of now. Word on memos come from the top. The directors and senior devs are taking the flak for the team in what I'd call an honorable move. Just so you know, we still joke about a quest that got rewritten more than a dozen times because a certain top dog wasn't feeling it and ended up being cut from the final product and should come on a later DLC next year. There's people that get hired for whatever reason and stay in the company due to being trusted by the top dogs. A good chunk of code is being scrapped and rewritten from scratch. The intended game might be ready June 2021. This next part is again another response. We don't really know what is being asked, but I'm guessing it's to a specific feature that was shown to us in a demo or a trailer that didn't make it into the game. Quote, that's already done and ready since February. It didn't get implemented because of a major UI bug that is still present in the retail copies. If you open your DAT files, you will find a lot of scrapped content still in there. If you want a refund, please ask for it. It positively impacts us as devs because we've warned the leads a million times about that kind of shit. Most cosmetic overalls should be ready by the second big update, hopefully. The update that is due in June will sort out all of the bugs. The code for the PS4, Xbox One is getting scrapped and done separately. The PS5's code is an improvement on the PC due to the amazing dev kit Sony put together for this gen. This seems to be a response to a question about how much of the game was actually done and was cut back for the release. Quote, you'd be amazed by how much is already done. That cut content so people finish the main quest talk was all bullshit. Most apartments with closed/locked indicators used to be lootable. We scrapped 50,000 lines of dialogue, and I believe the June update will bring a whole lot of the cut content back into the game. Address the cut content as well. If they see that you guys are asking for that shit to be put back into the game, we might actually make the game we intended back in 2018. There used to be a huge underground part of the city that the public never got to see because it looked ugly to the execs. It was freaking awesome, and it felt like the Malkavian Nosferatu path on Vampire the Masquerade. I don't want to hate on Keanu, but effing hell. Our original Johnny was way cooler and sounded like a maniac. Think Full Test on crack. I don't appreciate his acting either, but he's a very nice man. Walked up to us personally to greet us on the first day and took time to personally thank us one by one when they wrapped up recording. The word is his fee was actually manageable, and the need for star talent came from outside CD Projekt Red. The execs complied because who the F knows? It sucks. Our original Johnny was heavily inspired by David Hayter's Solid Snake from the first MGS, and believe it or not, Cillian Murphy. There was a whole AI routine with minor gang violence in those areas, stuff you could sit back and watch unfold or directly influence. There was a lot of drug use with kids that eventually got cut due to inside censorship. There were priests and Hare Krishna side arcs that got cut due to censorship. Miles wrote a side quest where a max tac officer offed himself and you could take its place, but it created such a complex detour from everything, tonally, that I got cut as well. I hope it comes back because it felt amazing to get their headquarters and hack shit. You see the police trying to operate and breaking down mid-arrest due to your shenanigans. I believe it was due to miscommunication and leads not setting goals like they should. The game was jumbled together for 2019's E3. The last dev comp before the scrap was 160 gigabytes alone. There should be some whistleblowing in the coming weeks if the step downs. Series X was a mere rewrite of code and load orders. Next Gen's architecture is actually very good for ports. It's company policy to release when a game runs without debug hitches, and the reason why it did baffles me, and is the reason why I started this thread. It's a mix of hubris and deep incompetence from some big names around here. I'm going home for the holidays and really thinking about my friends who will be in the office for the next couple of months, redoing scrap work without being able to say, I effing told you, this is your fault, boss. Next E3 will be bizarre for CD Projekt Red, I bet. We scrapped 2 whole arcs because the mission cleaned a save due to a bug with character placement. We've also scrapped a big portion of the underground and sewers because of bugs. Night City had 3 different types of cabs besides Villafort, and drivers would hold conversation and give quests. That also had to be scrapped. Police pathfinding script worked wonderfully until someone screwed the pooch. All I know is it's being fixed. It was a major oversight, of course. Morgan Blackhand's backstory and a nod to the corporate wars. The DLCs will add a lot to the crazy, cool ideas Mike gave us when we began briefing the project. You guys should see the complete game by the end of next year, if everything goes well. I really gotta go now. Take care. So yeah, the game was butchered. This is a massive amount of information that the dev gave us surrounding the development of the game and the hell that the devs went through to pull this off for the fans. After reading this, it really does seem like the game that we were supposed to get was the one that we were waiting for, the one that we seen, the one we were excited for. And due to corporate greed, unfortunately, we got something that was way, way worse. It's still unclear whether or not we're going to be getting everything that was cut from the game, but from what we just read, it seems like that they have a lot of content that they can work with, so if they do intend to add it back in, it shouldn't take that long for them to implement it. It seems like it's kind of the norm for these AAA developers to be pushing out these rushed products, and they're really expecting the consumer to just be okay with it until fixes come later. And of course, you can have your own opinions on the game. If you are enjoying it right now, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, besides the major bugs present, it happens to be one of my favorite games at the moment. I'm having so much fun with it, but I still can't help but think every time I load it up that it was supposed to be so much more. And I'm really hoping that CD Projekt Red are able to come together and pull this off, because No Man's Sky was able to give us that redemption that they really deserved, but no other developers have been able to pull that off yet. The communities of Anthem and I would argue Fallout 76 are still waiting for that No Man's Sky redemption, but who knows how long they'll have to wait for that to happen. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I really want to know what you guys think about all this information in the comments section below. What cut features that you thought were going to be in the game didn't actually make it would you like to see in the next coming months? I was really hoping that life paths were going to be the biggest part of the game, and I was really looking forward to that. So I hope that they really flesh it out a lot better and make it so when you do play a new playthrough, it's not just the same game with different dialogue options. If you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.